Good day, I am Sorghum Gurung and this is WHTC News. It has been almost 2 years since the UK government legalized the use of animal and human hybrid embryos. The Human Fertilization and Embryology Act of 1990 was reviewed in 2008 and this gave scientists new freedom in embryology. Here's a breakdown from our science correspondent, Farhad Islam. Farhad?
Scientists claim that this procedure will allow them to obtain stem cells easily. They say they can find cures to diseases such as Parkinson's and Alzheimer's. But what exactly are these 5 stages? The Human Fertilization and Embryology Act of 1990 allows 5 different processes to be used by the scientists who hold the license. These processes are as follows. The first process is called cytoplasmic hybrid embryos. This is when an adult cell is taken from the patient with a disease such as Alzheimer's, and then the genetic material is extracted from the whole cell. At the same time, an unfertilized egg is taken from a rabbit or a cow, and almost all the genetic material is removed. The genetic material from the adult cell is then put into the shell from the rabbit or cow, and then it is allowed to divide to become a hybrid embryo made up of 99.9% human genes and 0.1% animal genes. The second one produces hybrid embryos. This is when a human sperm is used to fertilize an animal egg, or an animal sperm is used to fertilize a human egg. This is done outside the uterus. The third process produces human chimera embryos. This is when animal cells are added to human embryos which have already been developed. The fourth process produces animal chimera embryos. This is when human cells are added into early developed animal embryos. The final process produces transgenic human embryos. This is when animal genes are inserted into early development of human embryos. And these are the 5 processes which have aroused controversy amongst both the general public and politicians. We have here today Mr. Tom Hillman, who is Head of Science at Wembley High Technology College.
Well, I understand why there is controversy. I see that people have different ethical and moral issues surrounding this topic. They may not be aware of some of the information, some of the implications. The fact that these embryos, these hybrid embryos, don't actually make it beyond 14 days, they're terminated after that time, I believe, suggests to me that there shouldn't be any ethical issues. The government has already passed a bill which suggests that human embryos can be researched on and tested up until 14 days and then be terminated, and there are ethical issues with that. However, that is the bill that we have taken as absolutely fine. An ethical committee has come together and agreed that up to 14 days we are allowed to research and test human embryos. The hybrid embryos aren't necessarily human, they're certainly not fully human, and so why should there be any difference?
Thank you, Farhad. So just how did the process went along in the Houses of Parliament? Here's a breakdown from our political correspondent, Videhi Patel in Westminster.
In the UK, MPs have debated the controversial issue of hybrid embryos and have voted for the Human Fertilization and Embryology Act of 1990. 336 out of 512 MPs have voted for the hybrid embryo research. Ex-Minister Edward Lee, who led the fight against the creation of hybrid embryos, said that they were ethically wrong. He also added that there was no evidence to show that this research could lead to treatments of degenerative diseases like Parkinson's and Alzheimer's. The opposition leader, David Cameron, and the Prime Minister, Gordon Brown, has backed the use of hybrid embryos as a means to develop treatments for cancer and different diseases. Dr. Ian Gibson believes that embryonic stem cells play a major part in the treatments for the future. He said that by using animal egg cells, scientists would be able to overcome the shortage of human egg cells. An individual has to meet strict conditions set by the government in order to obtain a license. Only 2 people in the UK at the moment have the license to produce hybrid embryos. Back to the studio.
Thank you, Videhi. We've been meaning to know what you think on this matter. Perth Meta has this report.
As daylight shines on embryology research, there are still people among us still living in hopes, perhaps false hopes. 1 in 300 people suffer from Parkinson's disease in the UK. This act is meant to speed up the process on finding the cure. Will this be a beginning of a new era?
Joining me is a woman who has been suffering from Parkinson's disease and will share her views on this bill.
You don't mean in real life, do you?
Yeah.
You do? Oh. I suppose it would be a good thing.
Here with me is a nurse from the train house, and let's hear her views on this.
Basically, if they're gonna do research to see whether they can cure Parkinson and dementia, if it's worked, then it's worth it. So it's just a matter of trying it.
So that was their views. What are your views on this?
Have you heard about the Human Fertilization and Embryology Act of 1990? I'm not aware of that.
Sorry, I don't know.
I'm afraid I don't know anything about that. Sounds very interesting.
No, not really. Okay. No, this will be the first time.
No, I haven't. So what kind of gamble are we taking?
Well, I'm Christian, so I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure whether that's completely ethical.
It's a bit unfair on the species that's been born.
I think that is just wrong.
I just think that they shouldn't do something as harmful to animals and humans also. Yeah. And it's not producing any useful results, so I think they should stop.
I don't even think that's right at all. It's like I didn't even hear of it, and the fact that they do it is bad enough. So.
It's bad because you're killing an animal, and you're just killing it. So it's just wrong. Why would you bring it into this world and then just kill it? I just don't think that's right. This is Parit Mehta, WHTC News. Back to the studio.
And that was Parit there. If you require more information, please visit our website, which is on your screen now. This is WHTC News, and I'm Sorgham Gurung. Goodbye.
Cut.
Oh, so is the shooting done?
Like.
Okay.